Okay.
So we are live now. We can edit this bit out once people come in. If people come in. Hello to anyone who's joined the chat. I do not know if anyone is in here, yes? Dean, will you speak just to see what the audio's like on this?
Yeah. No problem.
Speak as loud as you can and as...
Yeah, no, this is as loud as it goes.
Yeah, you sound alright.
Does it sound good, yeah?
Yeah, you sound alright, to be fair.
Yeah, no, that sounds fine, yeah.
Just waiting for people to call. Kieran's brother is in here, the other co-host. Or it might be Kieran on his brother's account. Make yourself known. We had a decent live chat last week. I don't know what we're going to have this week. Just waiting to see if there's going to be... Okay, so it's his brother. So Kieran's not in here. He's probably busy. I'm just going to put up on Twitter that we're live. Hangouts is being discontinued on August the 1st. Great.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, what are they gonna do? Just get rid of it altogether? Like, it's not add something new, or?
I don't know. It's probably going to be some sort of spin-off or something. I don't know. I just put up my Instagram. People probably aren't interested, but we'll see if we can get a few people in. Will you go onto the YouTube, go onto the live, turn down the volume and just see how many people, see if there's anybody in, and then we'll get started. Use the hashtag wrestling, we might get someone in. So did you watch the end of... I know I won't talk about it yet, but... AEW, hashtag WWE. So we've 2 people in. Right, we might as well begin because it'll turn into a video in anyway, so we might as well begin.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of the Hallway Wrestling Podcast. I am your co-host, Rian, as usual, and with me is not Kieran this week. Kieran has flogged himself off to America on a holiday and has copped himself tickets to Raw in New Jersey next week. Not jealous whatsoever, but I've invited
Really? Wow.
I've invited a good friend, Dean, along with me to do the podcast this week. And so, Dean, how much wrestling have you watched in the last 6 months?
Yeah, no, it's not a lot to be fair, but I have always kind of stayed on the pulse, so I kind of do know what's going on.
Yeah, I
So
was
yeah,
thinking.
should be in for a good
Yeah,
podcast.
so you watched this weekend anyway, and it was an interesting week in terms of
Yeah,
news, and we had Fighter Fest yesterday, which we'll cover later. But I want to start with a story that I heard while we were working, because we also have a third member of this wrestling brigade from Morton's called Rory, who is obviously too busy, in his words, to
he's no long no he's no longer with us
no, sadly
in
he's
Morton's
been
anymore.
taken by the lawyer brigade. But you want to tell us? I want you to tell this story, and I'll just set it up very quickly. Dean and Rory probably didn't know, but they were going to one of the most the most historic wrestling venue in Irish wrestling history, the Tivoli Theatre, for Over the Top Wrestling (OTT), which is our favorite promotion. And yeah, I'll let Dean take it from here, because this story, I mean, everyone wonders. Everyone knows Tyler Bate here. Everyone wonders, where the hell did Tyler Bate come from? Where was his inspiration? Where did Tyler Bate get that incentive to go and be the best wrestler in the world and a part of one of the best factions in the world? Dean has the answer right here, and I'll let you take it away and tell the story.
Yeah, so no, I think this is more of like a PSA, is to not get drunk at a wrestling event more so than anything else. But I went to OTT. It was one of their last shows at the Tivoli before it sadly closed down. It was the only one I went to there, but it was definitely a great show. Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, they'd all been wrestling for WWE at this
It was
point, but
the
they're still doing.
it was the iconic 6 man tag, wasn't it, with the Angel Cruisers
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that went
yeah,
viral. Just the
yeah. It
hilarious
was.
comedy match, which they're able to do as well as their
It was
great wrestling. But it's what happened afterwards that's just very interesting.
Yeah, so the show was great. Yeah, I can't recommend enough. There's some clips of it on YouTube. You'll find it. The 6 man tag that they had with the Angel Cruz, like you mentioned, but British Strong Style. But yeah, so once the show finished, so I'd never been to one of these shows before, so I didn't really know what the story was. But basically, like as soon as it ends, all the talent they start like to flog their merch, like basically, because they're still independent wrestlers, So I mean, they got to make money somehow, So that's what they done. They just set up tables, and they're all selling their T-shirts and whatnot, and and Tyler Bate was happened to be set up right next to me, and I didn't even see him until like it was too late really, because basically his stuff was set up, and I was just kind of facing away from it, but I was kind of but so I couldn't see it, and then next thing you know, he's just like in my face, and he's like, well, he's not in my face, but like I'm right next to him, and he's like, sorry, you stepping on my stuff, mate. And like I honestly didn't even realize what was going on. I was trying to take in like hang on a second, the show's just ended. I'm after
There's a
just like just
UK
kind of waiting
champion in my
around,
face.
just waiting for everyone to move. And next thing I know, I'm right next to Tyler Bate, and I'm stepping on his stuff apparently. So like I said, I'm very very intoxicated at this point as well. So it's no excuse really, but I would go on to make a bad decision anyway shortly. But he said it again. He said I was stepping on his stuff, and this time I really couldn't think of what to say. My head was like spinning in many different directions. I was right next to Tyler Bate. Like I mean,
So
this
what did
was
you say,
I
Dean?
could say whatever. I could say whatever I wanted, really. I mean, he's just kind of after saying, I could say sorry. I could say sorry. I didn't see your stuff there. I'm a big fan. I could have went that route, but no. I choose to go the other way. Like I'd never been face to face with a wrestler before, so I was kind of thinking, okay, this is my chance. This is my chance to kind of tell him how I really feel, which is not how I really feel. It's just the first thing I said that came to my head. But I said, you have no charisma.
Yeah,
That was the thing that was the first thing I said to him. Okay, and then he was kind of he like took that. He like was like what like we didn't say that, but like that's how he looked. He like just like looked at me like double take, and then I called him a vanilla midget. So yeah, just like I said, I got drunk at a wrestling event. I kind of have a bit of a semi kind of interaction with a wrestler, which is kind of like he's telling me to get off the stuff, and I turn into Kevin Nash basically. I said he has no charisma, he's a vanilla midget, and yeah, that was kind of the gist of it. I very sorry, I was very sorry, and I actually contacted him on his Facebook page afterwards, and I said that I did apologize. He's seen the message, so I think that there's closure on it, in my opinion.
Didn't
But
send you,
yeah, just
didn't send you any free merch.
no, definitely not, I think. But after I was standing on it, there's no way that was going to happen. But yeah, it's a funny story. But yeah, a very bad decision that I would not recommend anyone when you're face to face with a wrestler ever do something like that, because
I think I fixed it.
Could have ended worse.
Yeah. By the way, I think I fixed the audio. I can hear you better now. I couldn't hear Dean earlier. By the way, we're the joys of a wrestling podcast. Um. Anyway. Yeah. That was. When I first heard that, I was just like, "What?" So that's why he's that
Yeah,
good.
it's a funny story, to be fair.
It is a good story. The Tivoli, I never went to, and I really regret it because it's been knocked down now for a fucking
Oh, yeah,
car park.
yeah. Oh, it
It,
was great. It was great, and I've been there, for other stuff before, but to go there for wrestling was a lot of fun. The crowd was, yeah, they don't really compare. It's just it was a great overall. It's a shame it's gone, because it did have really popular events with OTT.
yeah, you need to come to the National Stadium in October with us for this 5th anniversary show. It's gonna be something else. I don't know if you've been tracking OTT since, but seriously, some of the stuff. I mean, the David Starr and Walter match last Sunday was unbelievable. So if you're, I definitely advise you that we could get some tickets and head down. We might even get Rory at retirement. Rory's one of them wrestling fans. These
I
big,
don't I don't think that's gonna happen, but it's wishful thinking, I guess.
yeah, but I'd say you come down, wouldn't you?
Look, I don't want to make any commitments on a podcast that I can't live up to.
No, don't worry. Anyway, no, but me and Dean both know that Rory is a big mark for the non-PG shows. As his argument was that they used to shout
Yep.
dogs abuse and shout everything, and now they applaud them. Rory's one of them old school wrestling fans and old school people in general. So we're not going to shoot.
Oh yeah, you'll get him on sometime.
Oh, I will. That would be my dream. I nearly got. By the way, the tweet. I don't know if you've seen the superhuman fella, the guy who jumps on the cactuses and all on Twitter. I don't know if you've seen him yet, but he came up on his Twitter saying that if anyone wants to have me on their podcast, have me to on Skype, and I was really excited, so I had him on Skype, and then he took the tweet down. If I had him on the podcast, I swear to God, the views will go through the roof. You need to check him out, then. This superhuman fella on Twitter. He does it for all his gigolos and gigolettes, and he jumps shoot barbed wire and barrels and thumbtacks, and he does all that sort of stuff just in his back garden, runs into walls. It's really, really weird, but he's gone viral in the last week, so go check him out. Anyway, we're going to get on to the news. Start off with the news, Dino. And
Indeed,
we were talking about, it's been a big week in news, to be fair, where the wrestling has been lacking because we only have Raw, SmackDown, and Fyter Fest. The news has been pretty big, and the first thing I want to talk about is Sports Illustrated first reported that Paul Heyman has been named the executive director of Raw, and Eric Biscoff has been named the executive director of SmackDown. This is huge. Could be game changing if they're given the freedom. They will both report directly to Vince McMahon. What do you think it is when you saw this first?
Yeah, so they report to Vince, and they're basically second in command now. So like, I mean, that kind of position, really, we haven't seen it for a while. Like, probably going back to like Brian Gewirtz, maybe. So people have had that much power, really.
Yeah,
But yeah, I first heard it, I was really surprised, but I definitely understand it. Because I mean, at this point now, where the company is going into the biggest television deal that it's ever had, you definitely do need to shake things up based on like the television ratings specifically at the moment. Something's got to change, and the fact that Vince is now open to changing, because this really would never have even dreamt of something like this happening, especially with these two people as well in that position before. So I mean, yeah,
yeah.
it's massive, really, and we can only really speculate exactly like
What they're gonna have, yeah.
until we see it take place. Like, I mean, there's been talk of like them having an on-screen presence as well. Apparently, there's been posters going around advertising. But yeah, look, it's big. It's
I hope
it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, the thing is, we don't know if it's gonna be good or bad, but it's interesting. It's actually going to do well
It's
for the
enough.
ratings.
It's enough.
Because it's
It's
something that's
enough to
gonna
make people
watch
tune
it.
in. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it stated that they will oversee creative development of W's flagship program and ensure integration across all platforms and lines of business. It says they will not be on screen for now, but I am thinking, I was just thinking Survivor Series. Imagine that storyline if they book it right. Heyman against Bischoff. That is going to
Yeah,
be
no, but I
really
mean,
cool.
you would think for something like that to happen, that the shows now you have this kind of wild card thing going on at the minute, and you would
It's
think
awful.
realistically that would have to be gone. They'd have to kind of strip it completely down. Two separate shows. Obviously, Heyman's has Raw, Bischoff has SmackDown, and you'd really want kind of a difference in them, because otherwise, then you wonder
It's no
how they're
point.
going to be booking it really, if it's so like interlocked like it is at the minute.
Yeah. Speaking. Yeah, I think before we move on, I think that with this new Fox deal, apparently they're going to get new sets, completely different. SmackDown's going to be more sports orientated, depending on which wrestlers they're going to get. They've done this wild card thing because I think there's been a fight between USA Network and Fox about who gets big stars, but like that's going to happen all the time. It's not like the NBA where all the stars are in one thing and then TNT gets all the stars on the basketball, and it's gonna be interesting. But I hope that I hope he gives them full reign, because Vince and giving power away are not used in the same sentence. But if anyone can
Yeah, and I mean, you have.
yeah,
Yeah, but I'm
because
saying you have to imagine that, like when they've agreed to be in that position, like they're obviously like they're not going to agree to like be still like second hand
exactly,
to Vince McMahon. They are going to want to have power and have to have their decisions put into practice, and not like has probably previously been the case with Heyman, specifically when he was in a similar role twice before, where he's kind of banging his head on the wall really against Vince, who wants to go in a completely different direction. And we've seen how that worked out the two previous times. So
yeah. I If there's two people that could overturn Vince on a decision and have in the past, it is Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff. I mean, Bischoff runs an 86 weeks podcast, which I don't know. You probably know that it symbolizes the
83
80.
weeks, yeah.
Yeah, it symbolizes the 86 weeks that Nitro beat Raw on the ratings. So there is history there, and Bischoff is going to want to have an full enough power. So I'm really excited. Is it going to make you tune back in and see what happens for the next few weeks?
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is the thing: it's
There we go.
people are going to see that on social media, and it without doubt is going to make people want to tune in just to see. So that's why they kind of do have to hit the ground running. Even this Monday, like I mean, you think you definitely have to. I don't know if they're gonna the road's going to begin straight away or how they're going to do it. We can only really speculate at the minute, but yeah, they definitely have to kind of make a pitch point from the get go, because I mean, yeah, this is going to get a lot of eyeballs interested, and I think to put forward a good product for the fall when this new TV deal is going to be in play, I think you have to really make a big impact.
Yeah, that's like because that's exactly what it needs to do. Because you're a fan that's tuned out, and the reason you told me you tuned out was because of Saudi Arabia, which is fair enough. Because it's as we'll get on to Kenny Omega's take on WWE later, it's blood money. That's what people think. That's what people are thinking at the moment. So if it gets new fans back in, it's good, but they need to keep them. This is their chance to keep fans back. This is their chance to wrestle some. I'm not saying they're below AEW yet, but with AEW going the way they're going, it's their chance to wrestle some of their pride back, and it's going to be a very important start for them. And I really, I hope, because I hate, I've been watching less and less Raw and SmackDown the last few weeks, because when you have time you'll watch it, but you used to like make time to watch Raw. Now it's if you have time you'll watch Raw. So hopefully it's the other way. It goes back to the old ways, and we can be happy about Raw and SmackDown again. The next story I have, because we're nice segue with Paul Heyman, is did you hear about this Tommy Dreamer? What Tommy Dreamer came out and said about his battle with mental health
Yeah, yeah,
past.
that. And
Yeah,
I think, I mean, you're hearing that, like, well, what he said, but like, I mean, you have to kind of think this is a man that's. We'll talk about the chair shot later, but this is a man that's been he's been hit on the head as many times as he have, and the kind of whole thing with like CTE and the real kind of signs that can be shown from being in such like barbaric matches over the years can really take their toll. And I think what Dreamer said, you'll tell us in a minute, it definitely has to play with like how much he's been hitting the head over the years. I mean, he's talked about forgetting stuff before in the past. I mean, like, it's scary, really, when you put it all into perspective. Especially, I mean, saying he wants to. I'll let you take it away. But good Jesus.
Yeah, I'm not going to read it all. I'm going to read the important bit. But basically, ECW, it went out of business back in the day, and it was a really good change. It's like AEW now. There was some really raunchy, gnarly spots. There was some. Tommy Dreamer was at the head of it. There was just some the ECW arena. I heard it's a brilliant arena. And then when ECW went out of business, Tommy Dreamer was unemployed, and he went from a 750 grand offer and Paul Heyman crying to him that if he leaves ECW, he'll go out of business. At the same time, Paul Heyman was getting paid by WWE. And Tommy Dreamer found this out. And he was so angry that Paul Heyman, who was begging him to stay so his company won't get into business. And Tommy Dreamer was like breaking his back for Paul Heyman. And he was very, very, very upset that Paul Heyman had gone behind his back and signed with the WWE. And this just sent him into a depression. He had a wife, he had kids, but his depression just kept getting deeper and deeper. And this is at WrestleMania X7, which is apparently they had a TLC and Spike Dudley came in, and Rhino came in, and Lita came in. He was supposed to come in at WrestleMania, and he got slashed. I don't know. There's no reason for it here on Ringside News. But then there was going to be a hardcore 24/7 thing, which obviously we had back in the day with Crash Holly, and now we have this new 24/7 thing with R-Truth. And he was doing a show where WrestleMania X7 was in was in Houston, Texas, and it said guns welcome. So obviously you're allowed to have a gun with a gun license. And someone told him you're allowed to bring a firearm into the venue, which is just crazy. What do you think about bringing firearms into a venue That's just, I don't know if it's back.
Yeah, I mean, this
is
it's pre 9/11 really. So I mean, any kind of security was maybe a little bit lax. You have to think.
Yeah, it is great. So he was across the street from Mastodon because he was at an indie event. And he now knows it's sick that he thought this. At WrestleMania, this is a quote, at WrestleMania, I was going to hop the rail and I was going to whack Paulie in the back of the head right at the announce table. Then I was going to whack myself. The ultimate martyr. I was going to pose, crack, boom, pull the trigger because I was that insane. I don't know if I would have went through with it, but I was thinking about it every day. I'll go down to history, pop, boom. I think it was an angle until I shot him. And then it was a phone call from Jim Ross that saved him. He said, "Hey, Tommy, it's Ross. I just want to let you know we're still thinking about you. We're going to get it done. Just got to get hang tight. Thank you." Which is weird. I'm thinking in my head when I read that, did he get a text as he was about to go into the stadium? Because that is very, very lucky.
Look, I mean, you don't really... we don't really know. I mean, he hasn't really. He's given some details, but he hasn't really gone into like minute detail. But like, I mean, you just have to wonder really where his head was at to think that. Like, I mean, I kind of jumped the gun a little bit with the CTE stuff because we'll get to that later. But like, yeah, I mean, he's obviously was in a bad place at that time. Like, but
as were a lot of people.
Thank God it didn't happen. Thank God it didn't happen. I mean, it would have ruined the greatest ever wrestling event. Like, I mean, just shooting Pauline in the middle of it. But yeah, it's an interesting story. That's for sure.
I use that news story just to like with this chair shot. Like we're gonna talk about ourselves, skip over, but you've got to be careful what you do to yourself because drugs. Mental health. I mean, men's mental health and women's mental health is being talked about all the time as a stigma. It's real life. Like people, I've gone through it. I'm not gonna go into anything, but people need to understand that like stuff like this actually does happen, and that people just need to be careful. And this was just really eye opening. I was scared when I started reading this. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully he's doing great for himself now. He's got his own promotion, a House of Hardcore, and he's doing well in Impact. He's making appearances everywhere. So it's good to see him that he's all right. And I just wanted to read that because that was a quick segue from the Paul Heyman stuff. But Yeah.
Yeah, I
Next.
mean, that definitely does not reflect Tommy Dreamer's personality. I don't think.
No.
Just a
He's a
one-off.
very nice guy from podcasts I've listened to and all. But that was just scary, and I hope he seems like he's gotten over it now. And thank God Paul Heyman's alive. I mean, what could have happened if Paul Heyman didn't live on? Like, we wouldn't. Brock Lesnar would be fucking shit. Um.
Be very different.
Anyway, yeah. Let's talk next. We're gonna talk about the WWE petty train continuing at full speed ahead because AEW Fight for the Fallen, which is on in 2 weeks in Jacksonville, is a charity event to raise money for a fight against gun violence. Tony Khan has said that it's very close to his heart. He wants to help his local community. It's in his own backyard. He wants people to donate to the charity and prevent gun violence. And WWE have announced that they are streaming Evolve's 10th anniversary show, which is being filmed very soon on the same day and around the same time as AEW's Fight for the Fallen. What do you think? Like, I think that's very petty. I mean, they know that that's on. And it's a charity event, and they decided to not only stream it, but I don't know if you've heard they've given Evolve 4 wrestlers for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's nothing new, really. Like, there has been a lot of back and forth between their wrestlers and Evolve, and like there has been talk of for a while actually of Evolve even being on the WWE network. So no, I
Yeah,
think this is probably the perfect opportunity, like to do that.
yeah, it is. It is on their network and all, but they've given them Adam Cole versus Akira Tozawa and Matt Riddle against Drew. No, Adam Cole against Drew Gulak, I think, and Akira Tozawa against Matt Riddle. But streaming it directly against a AEW's charity event has ticked a certain Kenny Omega off, and he wrote a tweet which has since been deleted. And this tweet is this. I don't know if you've seen this tweet, but it seems it's very damning on the company. If lining your pockets with blood money is okay, then what's wrong with trying to undermine a charity show for victims of gun violence? I heard the healthy competition is supposed to be a good thing, and yet I can't help but feel like I'm going to be sick. Obviously, the blood money is a reference to Saudi Arabia and all, which obviously turn you off the product. So I think they could have put it on at any time, but they've decided to put it on right against a charity event. It does seem a bit odd, but you never know because they were streaming Evolve a long
Look, it's look, I think it's just like I said, I think it's all just come together. It's a perfect opportunity. And look, if it is petty or whatever, it's the wrestling business. It's all about who screws who first, So I mean, I don't really see a problem with it. Like, it's gonna happen,
sure.
Especially as we go on.
Yeah, as you know, I don't know if you know about the August 31st fiasco as well. I'm sure you do. The 3 events that are on August 31st.
Yeah, that's going to be something.
On the same day, thank God there's time zone differences. We have New Japan Royal Quest live from London, the Copper Box, I think. Or it could be, I don't know where it is. We have NXT UK Cardiff, UK TakeOver Cardiff, in Cardiff, obviously. And we have AEW's All Out show, which has John Moxley against Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho against Hangman Page booked so far. And that is, that's just, obviously, this is good. Sorry about that. It's good for wrestling fans. It's brilliant for wrestling fans, as it is going to provide healthy competition and good competition. Sorry, my computer is full of viruses. If you saw a pop up there, ignore it. Yeah, it's going to provide a good, healthy amount of competition. It's going to be good for us wrestling fans, but it's not great for the companies because they won't get their most exposure that they can. But I'm sure they don't care. But I just thought I'd bring that up because WWE are trying to fight these head on, and fair play to them. But
now you want choice, you want variety, like I mean, it's more companies the better.
Yeah, we've been begging for it, and now we have it, and we have the G1 coming out starting next week, and I cannot wait for that.
There's more than ample enough alternatives at the minute.
Yeah, and hopefully WWE can step up their game and get back into that limelight. Okay, we have some new contracts in WWE. I don't know if you've heard of these. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson have been reported to sign a new contract, as has Shinsuke Nakamura. We'll get on to the Gallows and Anderson's storyline later. I hope they turn it around and they have some sort of title run in the club. I hope the club gets back together. Mojo Rawley signed a new 5-year contract, and Jinder Mahal has signed a new 5-year contract. Do you think of these as anti-AEW contracts, or do you think of them as them just trying to tie people down and they're going to actually use them on the product? Because I don't see Jinder Mahal or Mojo Rawley getting a push anytime soon.
Yeah, no, I think that it is that tying like most of the roster down. But like realistically, how many spots are there out there for people in AEW, especially not for some of the guys you mentioned there? Like, I mean, realistically, like there's only there's like Mojo Rawley's never going to wrestle for AEW. No, there's Jinder. Like, I mean, it's just having talent, you know. And these guys that have been with them for a while, you know, they're in a good spot. I think they're happy with it. So I mean, obviously they like more exposure, really. But like, you know,
What would you?
Jinder's been champion and Mojo is kind of stop start. But like, I mean, look, yeah, I mean, it's still number one at the end of the day. Like, I mean, it's WWE. Like, I mean, you know, you kind of
Yeah,
want to be
but
there as long as you can for some people. So
yeah, I take a 5-year contract, sit on the sideline, do a bit of wrestling. But I'm sure they'd love to do wrestling. And Mojo Rawley's not bad. Mojo Rawley's not bad in his own right. I'm not dissing Jinder, but Mojo Rawley's not terrible. But anyway, what do you think of where would you like to see this club angle go? This
yeah,
AA
look,
style.
it's something finally for Gallows and Anderson, and they've kind of I don't think they've ever really went full speed with the club. I mean, we had the stuff with Cena in the past, but I was always thinking there's definitely more you could do with it. And look, I think it's good for both. I mean, if it ends up with AJ maybe aligning with them and being a heel faction, I think that's probably ideal situation. But yeah, it's something for the club for sorry Anderson and Gallows mainly, because obviously we haven't seen them in a proper angle for a long time, and they deserve a lot better. And why not pair them together with the you know, the faction that's got them the most popularity? So like, yeah, I'm all for it. Hopefully, I'm buzzing to see more, and I hope that they go somewhere with it, you know, and it's not like the incarnations of this faction that we've seen in the past in WWE, which really hasn't gone anywhere.
Yeah, no, I hope. I mean, in Tokyo this past week, they had a Triple H join the club when they had Finn Balor right there. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see Finn Balor, AJ, and the club in the faction. Finn Balor as IC
Yeah,
champion,
and
AJ as champ.
I think that it's been maybe the obvious one to do. Really, people I think have been crying out for it for a while. But yeah, look, we'll see what happens. So far, so good, I reckon.
Yeah, no, yeah, we'll get on to it. I really hope they just need to get some wins. All right, let's get on to Raw.
Yeah.
We're gonna start with Raw. Decent episode of Raw this week. I'm not gonna lie.
That was a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like it improved, and we got some good storylines. My phone's on very low battery, so I've got my notes here. Okay, Raw. Okay, Raw starts. Rollins comes out. Rollins' music hits. He comes out to talk about his victory. Of course. He talks about how Baron tried to use every trick in the book, but he couldn't get past me. And then he's interrupted by his girlfriend, the man, Becky Lynch, who reminds him that you're the reason you're still the champ. Well, not really the reason, but, you know, thank me. I'm the one who helped you. They have a bit of a back and forward. The man has kind of died down a bit, hasn't it, Dino? I don't know if you've been following it, but the man, like ever since the height, it's kind of died down a bit, and she's lost a bit of her mystique. And this kind of doesn't really help. I'm not really. Vince has obviously told them to force their relationship on camera, and it just seems a bit, it's a bit meh for me.
Yeah, the scripting wasn't really great, the dialogue, but like, I mean, I think it's good for both of them, really. Like, because I mean, yeah, obviously we're still kind of on course for you know, the summer program, so this is just kind of in between thing, which is fine. Like, and but yeah, I think to see that the two of them team up, I think is. I mean, it was gonna happen, but you know,
Yeah, it's
why
all
not?
right.
Like,
It's good. I just love to see a bit more like real, maybe a bit more realism, just some real conversations. Just fuck the script out the window. Hopefully, Heyman does that. Heyman will give you a bit of realism.
that's not gonna happen.
Baron Corbin comes out and he attempts a sneak attack with Lacey Evans, and they kind of have a bit of a scuffle. But the man and the Beast Slayer fight them off. The man and the man's man, as Becky Lynch was calling her. Then Baron get on and said, "We challenge you to a tag team match." Sorry, I think Rollins challenged him to a tag team match, and then the heel said, "No, we'll do this at Extreme Rules." Yeah, Lacey said, "We'll do this at Extreme Rules," and then they said, we want another stipulation," and Rollins, jumping the gun, can't do that set before you hear the stipulation, says, "We'll fight you. It doesn't matter about the stipulation." And Baron announces that a winner takes all tag match. So basically, if Lacey pins Becky, then Rollins loses the title, and Lacey and Becky lose the title. So it's a winner take all Extreme Rules, which I'm not too fussed about. I'm not complaining about it. It seems like a good storyline. It seems like they might be setting up for a title change here, but I don't think they would. I don't think they're gonna
Oh, no,
they're not gonna
yeah,
put the
no
title on
chance. No,
two vanilla midgets as you say. Um, I've been
no, don't use that word. Don't.
two not so over superstars. The thing is, I've been talking to people, and I think a lot of people are agreeing that this Lacey, you probably heard about Lacey. She's a war veteran. She has confirmed kills in the army, obviously. I think
Yeah, they don't
she'd be
really
a lot
play it
better off
up
as a
enough.
babyface.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've kind of they haven't really played it up an awful lot lately, but yeah, I mean, they say you need to be a good baby before you become a good heel, but like, yeah,
Yeah, I think
I think she's I do like her stuff, like, I mean, but obviously she's only wrestling a couple of years, but like, I mean, you're in that spot, like, I think she's done a pretty good job thus far, and yeah, I think she'll only get better.
yeah, a few of the matches have been a bit suspect. The one against Charlotte Flair in particular was awful. She needs to get another finisher other than a punch. I mean, we all saw Big Show couldn't get over a punch back in the day, so.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
it's such a hard finisher to have. Like, I mean, how many moves, like how many sequences in a match involves punches? So I mean, it's definitely a very hard thing to have as a finisher. But
yeah,
I mean, it is believable though, because you mentioned her background and whatnot. So I mean, it is believable that she'd lay you out with like a stiff one.
yeah. But a few of her, I don't know if you saw Stomping Grounds, but there was a spot where Becky went into the corner and Lacey just stood there, and Becky was really pissed off. So hopefully, if she cleans up ring work, a face turn with this whole like army woman persona with the right heel against her, it could be something special, and we could see her get up and build up to that level. Anyway, we'll move on to Daniel Bryan and Rowan, the SmackDown Tag Team Champs, and the Raw Tag Team Champs, the Revival, against their two challengers, quote unquote, the Usos and the New Day. So it was basically SmackDown challengers and Raw challengers against. I don't know why Heavy Machinery weren't involved in this. I just say I think the Usos and the New Day are a good team to have, but they had a 8-man tag. What did you think of this match? The 8-man tag between the challengers and the champions of both brands, wild card rule.
Yeah, I liked it. I did like it. I think yeah, they got Bryan and Rowan out there fairly quick, but I did like the stuff with the Usos and the Revival. Look, it's just 4 really good teams. Obviously, I think with the situation at the minute, it's hard to kind of get them all in like a featured thing, just with so many bodies and like with the wild card and that. But this was a really good match. They had another good one on SmackDown as well. So yeah, I do like it, but again, I think need to play up I think the story a bit more, specifically for the Usos and the Revival. Like, they were like
Yeah, that'd be class.
I saw that
Hold
a couple of weeks ago. They were they were like, it was almost like mates with the stuff they were doing. But yeah, it needs a bit of story, a bit of meat on it. But the matches are great, so you can't argue with that.
Nah, they were
And like
mates.
for a TV match here, like, you can't complain really, especially with the whole thing with the commercials as well. Like, that to be quick enough. But like, I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we forgot to mention that commercial thing about Vince. He wants commercial. So this was an elimination match. Yeah, a few weeks ago the Usos were putting Usi Hot, which a ball-ish cream down the Revival's pants. So this is a big improvement because they're actually wrestling. Daniel Bryan was. I don't know you noticed this, but this was his hometown, and the crowd was really hot for D-Bry here. They got the.
Yeah, this is why I think that's why they eliminated them really quick. Really, I think,
Yeah,
just
they
get
didn't
them out
want.
of there. Like,
Yeah,
don't have the chance maybe messing with the match kind of.
yeah, they had the yes chance. He was on a roll, but then I like the way the crowd riled him up. So he was really going around. And Daniel Bryan he was like a babyface Daniel Bryan again. But then I like the way the Revival took exception to him, and they were like, "Oh, you're being a bit arrogant. Let us in." because tagged him in, and yeah, and then like they got Daniel Bryan and Rowan out very quickly, and Woods. Then very quickly they had the Revival eliminate Woods and the New Day with a shatter machine. And then this led to a really good mini singles match. You said you liked this little mini singles match, didn't you?
Yeah. The Usos and the Revival, I think, is always going to be good, and I like the finish as well. Is really expertly done. So
Oh yeah, when they Jay Uso, one of the Usos stole the tag, and the Revival were about to win, but then one of the Usos jumped over Scott Dawson and hit a splash off his back and landed it perfectly and took the win. So the Usos look like they're set up for another Raw tag team title match, and if they let the shackles off, I take a Usos Revival best of 100 because they could do some really special things. What do you think about the potential of the Revival on the Indies with all this contract talk?
yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, I mean, we have them doing like great stuff at the minute, but they eventually are, they're out the door, really, aren't they? And that's kind of it's going to be expected, really, when you see kind of the spot they've been in for the longest time, and especially how good they really are. Like, they definitely deserve to be in a much more featured position than they have been, which has only been since all this kind of talk of them leaving has come about, where they've actually been they've been given a bit more. But yeah, it's probably a bit too little, too late. And but imagine that the matches that you're gonna have with them if they do eventually leave, which it looks like they will. Teams that have been like the Young Bucks, they've kind of had that thing going on for years. So to eventually see that match I think would be a great thing. But it's a shame that they are maybe so disillusioned because they're a really good team, like I said.
Now we have the Miz. This segment was great. The Miz TV. Miz TV is a bit oversaturated, but the Miz said 24/7 rules. No, they're not in play right now. Miz TV with Carmella and R-Truth. Then Drake Maverick comes out because I'm sure you've seen the thing about the wedding last week when he won the title at his wedding, and then they're going on the aisle. They've exchanged their dues, and then Drake Maverick comes down the aisle, and there's a ref there, and R-Truth picks up the win. We discussed that last week. Anyway, so R-Truth is talking, and he's doing his thing on Miz TV, and then Drake Maverick comes out. And Drake Maverick, I don't know, Dean. He looks like you. He looks like what you probably look like after the Tivoli if you were wearing a suit.
Now it's a real vanilla midget there.
Yeah, no, I think Drake Maverick's doing great at the moment. I mean, his fake tits falling out when he was taking.
Yeah, no, it's very good, very good.
Yeah, I'd say when you came back into it, I'd say you came back right into the middle, and you were like, "What is this?" And then it's something fresh. But he came out with his tie on his rough shave, his tie on his head, and talking about how his wife won't go on his honeymoon, talking about the worst thing that happened. I love the way he said the worst thing that happened this week was I lost the title when his wedding got crashed. And then he challenges R-Truth to a match. Truth beats him in about 90 seconds, and everyone chased Truth out of the ring. Maverick was just crying on the ground as R-Truth got chased away, and the crowd were just abusing the crap out of him. So I like that segment. I think it's great, and we have another 24/7 segment to talk about later. So we'll move swiftly on. We'll talk more about 27 in the next segment. Here we are, the 2-on-1 handicap match between Shane and Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns. What do you think of this? I thought it was decent with a very, very surprising end.
Yeah, I mean, the match we're not really bothered about, but
No,
yeah, what we the return of a certain dead man, I think, was very unexpected.
Yeah, but
And
it
that
wasn't really,
was
it wasn't really a return because we seen him like a few days ago at that horrible match at Super Showdown. That really depressing. But because it was only a few days ago, we expect him to go a few months. That's why it was so shocking.
I know, like, I mean, that kind of match was kind of that felt like very, very separate to the goings on of the television. This feels like it's the Undertaker back in the main program and main storylines, and yeah, they're very good to see him back doing what he does best.
Yeah,
Because
no,
I mean, at obviously at Showdown, that was definitely not Taker at his best.
no, it was a bit, it was a bit sad to see. But I'm looking forward to this. But I'm also like, do I want to see the Undertaker again? But I do hear rumor that they are setting up for Drew McIntyre against the Undertaker as like a SummerSlam feud, maybe. And I have no problem. I have no problem with the Undertaker putting Drew McIntyre on his way out. I really hope the Undertaker finishes up soon, and I hope he puts Drew McIntyre up on his way out because McIntyre, I think McIntyre is amazing. People kind of criticize him, but I think he's got the talk, he can wrestle, he's got the physique, he's done amazing going back from the Indies and just coming back. I was wondering what you think about Undertaker putting McIntyre over in a feud and letting him win
Yeah, well,
decisively and soon.
apparently that's the Undertaker's maybe handpicked him to work with. So yeah, that's definitely a match I would like to see.
It won't be the best.
Yeah,
It won't be the
I can
best.
never. Yeah, no, I'll never get tired of seeing the Undertaker. Really, no matter how how bad the matches are. I think it's because I mean I know that he doesn't have long left. So I it feels like we've been saying that for years, but like it's the Undertaker. It's
It
always
is.
going to be good for me. But
It is.
obviously, yeah, we do. And he said before, when he feels he can't go, that's when he should hang it up. And yeah, this could definitely be a sign of that. And then maybe putting McIntyre out on the way out is ideal. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think he doesn't want to wrestle anymore. It's clear to see. He's been telling Vince. I'd say he's been telling Vince, but Vince keeps shoving money in his face.
Well, yeah, no,
Uh,
the Saudis keep shoving money his direction, and like I mean, realistically, that's very hard to turn down when you see the amount of money that they're putting on the table for a match like that, with Taker involved. So I
yeah,
mean, it's it's very telling the fact that they were some of the only matches he did in the past year have been Saudi shows. So like I mean, it's where the money's at, man.
yeah. I just hope he has a good match with Drew and bows out in a good way because I'd hate to see him just not be able to not be able to go out of the arena or like get really injured in a match. And yeah, I'm just happy that he's got like this match. A tag match is going to be something. A tag match with good people. It's not like the tag match in Saudi Arabia where they had the Brothers of Destruction and against Shawn Michaels and Triple H, which is just painful as all hell. But it's good to see that he's going to have somebody who can do all the good work. And Undertaker can come in, do his greatest hits, beat the crap out of Shane, get some heat, get some hot energy from the crowd, and then I'd assume that McIntyre might take the pin on Undertaker in this match, possibly. But
It I'd say Undertaker's gonna get the win. Yeah, I'd say.
okay, so Matt, you think McIntyre's going to get that big singles win?
Yeah, well, maybe I don't know. I'll never get tired of the Undertaker. Like I said, if it's just him coming in, doing his greatest hits, getting the win, that's fine. You could do that until he's until he's gone, until he's dead. So
Yeah,
until he physically cannot do it anymore. Because like
yeah.
it's the Undertaker. Till he really is dead,
Yeah.
the dead man.
There's going to be a lot of people who disagree with you. There's going to be a lot of people who don't want to see him anymore. But that's a discussion for
Yeah, I
another
mean,
day.
I can understand that as well, but like. I think I think in a tag match, like you said, we could definitely see. That's that. We could see the dead man do his greatest hits, and that's
Yeah.
enough.
It's the first example of long-time storytelling in a long time because they're playing off the WrestleMania 34 or 33. 33, is it?
Yeah, to see in two matches, see him come back with the man who beat him with Reigns, and obviously reigniting the stuff with Shane as well. So
Yeah. To save time, because we're going to have to talk about Firefest. I'm only going to go through this segment for 20 seconds. Braun Strowman against Bobby Lashley in a tug of war. Shit. I don't know why.
I think Jericho put it best from what he said on Twitter. Definitely
What do you
some of the best wrestling on television. I think.
think?
He,
Yeah. It's sad to see. I know. I don't. Lashley is not going to be the most popular person in the world, but Strowman was at the 2018 when he was. Remember when he's tipping trucks over, tipping sets over? He was red hot. People were red hot for Strowman, and now he's doing a tug of war. Anyway, Lashley attacks Strowman afterwards. After the Strowman won, it's basically like all these arm wrestling. Remember the Master Lock Challenge? Were you around? Did you watch when the Master Lock Challenge was on?
Yeah, and Bobby Lashley was the one man to break it, wasn't he? So
Lashley, yeah, he was. Anyway, yeah, let's just move on. This was all right. So Charlie Caruso.
I
Have you
want to
ever
see
have you
them
heard
do.
anything about
I want to see them do a. I want to see Lashley and Strowman do a pose down next. I think that's the logical next step.
Oh Jesus Christ! Okay. Um, Charlie Caruso. Have you heard? She is really straight up. She just doesn't give a fuck about anyone. But she interviews AJ Styles, and all of a sudden you hear No Way Jose's music, and Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson are dancing with No Way Jose on the conga line. And AJ Styles tells him to get focused. You need to where are the Gallows and Anderson I heard in Japan. Where are the Gallows and Anderson that when we came into WWE together, we tore the house down and we beat the crap out of John Cena, which you referred to earlier. And they said, "All right, we're going to show you." They went out with the Viking Raiders, had a bit of a battle, and then the Viking Raiders Experience Extravaganza hit them with the Viking Experience for the win. And AJ Styles looked disappointed. This is a good storyline if it results in Gallows and Anderson turning around and being, I just want AJ Styles to turn heel on Ricochet and the club just to be dicks and win everything. That's what I want, but it has to turn out something. I don't know if it's going to be good yet because I need to see the end result.
Yeah, no, I think that is the direction they are swaying in, and that's why I've kind of been interested in it more. But yeah, I think it would have to be really. I mean, they've lost like a couple of matches now. Like surely something's got to give. Can't just be baby faces and just. And then after like what we've seen them tonight dancing with in the conga line, so like yeah, something's got to give in that respect. Like
yeah, what do you think about this Viking when War Raiders who were brilliant in NXT? I don't know if you watched much of their NXT, did you?
Yeah, I've seen some of their stuff.
Yeah, you've seen enough to know they're very good. What do you think when they came?
Yeah,
they came up to the main roster.
Yeah, Vince got his hands on them.
Sorry for talking over each other. Yeah, no, and then Vince got his hands on them. They came out with the Viking Experience. They had to change that really quick. Twitter went into meltdown.
Yeah, no, like that was a bad fit. But yeah, they look like they've won every match, haven't they? So I mean, they have some really good offense as well. So I mean, again, with tag teams, it's hard to kind of position them in a good spot just because of the nature of the programming. But yeah, hopefully they get a title match eventually because they're a good team. Definitely, they could have some really good matches.
Yeah, Mojo Rawley, Heath Slater. Do you want to talk through this 24/7 segment? Give your thoughts on it because you seem to like it.
Yeah, no, we'll get through this one pretty quickly. Yeah, I think it's a 24/7 thing. I definitely like it. It's very different, and that has showed really with the amount of views and stuff that it gets on social media and that. But yeah, it's nice fun change of pace, really, isn't it? And this was a pretty fun deal here with everyone winning the title, and eventually that always ends up back on R-Truth's way. Same thing with Crash Holly back in the day, which I wish it kind of maybe differentiated a little bit from back end, but it's showing this kind of format and this kind of thing to a new audience, and it's getting pretty popular anyway. And it's obviously you have the right man in charge of it, really, with R-Truth leading the way. He's never knocking. No one's going to boo him. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, it's brilliant, and the stuff with Carmella's finally found something, and she was a good champion, but she wasn't her best in the ring. She's doing great here. Some of the stuff. So Cedric Alexander won it, EC3 won it, and then R-Truth won it back to become the 8-time champion. Well, I want to see more hotel room stuff like the Crash Holly stuff. I want to see some more outlandish stuff like they're in this. Like I know they did it in the plane, which is hilarious. Where R-Truth was like, I want it at a cruise altitude of 10,000 feet. My question is, who would you like to see be the next champion? As in, like when R-Truth finally, I know R-Truth will never be out of the picture, but who would you like to see have an extended run with it? Not that extended by I mean.
I think Drake. I think they have to give it to Drake eventually. I think he needs to win it and kind of do the same thing where he's like really trying to hang on to it and really kind of different kind of circumstances. Like he's doing weird stuff with it to try and keep the title and whatnot. Like I mean that's what I want to see. Like see have him like in bed with his wife and like people storm into his like whatever hotel room or whatever like on his honeymoon. Like let's say he gets his proper honeymoon. He's the champion. He's loving life. Can't get any better. And then he has all these swarms of guys coming after him. With referees and whatnot. So that's what I want to see personally.
Yeah, it's really good. What do you think? What do you think about some of the people who are actually in this picture? It's quite, even though it's a good segment, it's quite depressing to see people like Bobby Roode and Eric Young, who were TNA legends, and
Yeah,
EC3, who was brilliant, running after a little belt and getting stuck by referees and lifts and stuff.
yeah, no, it's kind of a bad spot to be in, really, because you're automatically like you're positioned as
The jobber.
just kind of a geek, really. I think is a good word, or jobber, yeah. So yeah,
But these
that's probably
guys,
the
you got to understand that these guys are world class. Like Bobby Roode and Eric Young are world class wrestlers, and EC3 as well.
yeah. But look, I mean, everyone has. Not everyone can be in a feature spot, really, and it's just been dealt a bad hand, really. But look, yeah, I suppose you have to make the most of it as well. Like, I mean, they were getting spots on TV every week. So I mean, sometimes you have to be a little different, stand out some way, And maybe then again, maybe they'll get a run with the the title. Who knows? We'll see
Yeah,
anyway. Like EC3, I think has definitely made a pretty good job doing of that. Like in recent weeks, like he's definitely he didn't highlight some of these segments really with how he's come across. So
yeah. Anyway, moving on. So 24/7, very good. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens after obviously the New Day compete earlier tonight. They're not there. This is important for this segment. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens interrupted Kingston in Kofi's interview and saying, "Oh, you can't win without your boys." So they had a match between the critic of the critics, which is I like that as a nickname for Sami Zayn, which is basically a code word for Vince McMahon's voice, as you've seen with all of his promos. Um, and they had a match, bit of a scuffle, bit of a match. But Kofi Kingston reversed a blue thunderbomb into a roll up and took the win. So Kevin Owens challenged Kofi to a match, and Kingston accepted, and and they had a match, and Kofi sent him into the barricade and won by count out. What do you think about Kofi? Because Kofi, the New Day against Kevin and Sammy was brilliant on Sunday, and they got a win. But other than that, they've been losing all the time, and it just kind of it's not gonna be a long before their credibility starts dwindling, because they've got something here. But I know Kofi's a champ, but I'd like to see Kevin and Sammy kind of get themselves back up on track.
no, but yeah, you mentioned that about credibility. Like, I mean, wins and losses, they really do matter. Like, I mean, they matter in a sense that if you keep beating someone week after week after week, eventually, like, I mean, people are not going to see them as a threat. And especially here, I mean, both of them getting beaten back to back with just Kofi there, I think it's not great for them really, especially when they've been having such good segments together and then matches as well, like you mentioned. So yeah, not great to see them both get beat back to back here.
No, anyway, so Kingston then dived onto both of them, and laid them both out, and then Kingston's gone up the ramp, and this is where again I'm interesting, and I'm very happy to see this. Kingston's gone up the ramp, and Samoa Joe, fuming from losing his US title, comes up and lays out Kofi. He just brutalizes him. He hits him with the Uranagi, and then locks him in the cooking clutch, and it's night. I really like this. I love Joe being positioned as a top. I was weird the way he keeps losing the US title. Last night was like, oh, what's he going to do? It's very nice to see these moving up to the main
Yeah,
storyline.
no, I'm all for it. Definitely, I definitely want to see Joe in that spot. But like you mentioned there, I mean, he loses all these matches. Like, how is he lose the US title match and then instantly gets put into like a WWE title program? So I mean,
Because
for that reason, it's a little bit off. But yeah, I definitely want to see it. Like, so I mean.
yeah, but it suits his character. Dane, you have to understand. He wants to take what he wants. He's really angry. So he said, He sees Kofi out there looking into the distance. He's going to take his opportunity and just go out there and just brutalize Kofi and send a statement to Vince McMahon.
Well, is that the story that they've put across really? Because I haven't really heard that, but like this is it's just more about continuity more so than anything else. But look, I mean, we're never going to complain about seeing Joe in the title picture. So
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, next we had there
even
was a
though we just did,
yeah, there was a backstage disagreement with Natalia and Naomi and Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. People saying Nikki are getting used by Alexa, which is going to be the story in the end. But Alexa fought Naomi and Bliss won in a quick match. After Nikki distracted her, and then Alexa attacked Naomi, and then Natalia made a save. Then they had a tag match on the spot. Holla holla. This is getting a bit annoying. Where every time there's an interruption, there's a tag match. Just leave it. You know when like people attack people in like I don't want to use Impact as an example, but they used to go, let's have a tag match next week. Don't do it on the night. It's just annoying. It's filling time. It's this 3 hours thing. Bliss won the tag match with stealing a pinfall. It's a bit of a meh, isn't it? I wouldn't blame you if you forgot.
I think no, it's kind of this whole kind of angle's kind of a bit grown worthy really in general. But
the Bailey thing is very good. The moment
it's
very good.
I mean, it's not really believable though. I mean, like,
no, I think they've been doing really well with this moment of Bliss and the Nikki storyline. It's better than remember when they had. Do you remember Kendo stick on a pole this time last year?
Yeah, well, I mean, anything is going to be an improvement from that. Like,
yeah. Anyway,
but yeah, look, they're trying it again, and it's better than last time. But I still think that they could do better with just. I mean, Bliss is great, obviously, but like, yeah, if they actually had instances where they could actually kind of see Bailey maybe, getting a bit more aggressive and turning a little bit more than they have, it would make more sense. But yeah, we'll see what they do.
That's what I agree with. Yeah, I agree with you. All right, now we're on to our main event. Ricochet and AJ Styles. Obviously, you can't have a bad match with Ricochet and AJ Styles in the ring, I don't think. So before going, we had Gallows and Anderson coming out saying they're going to help. Oh my God, that's on live. That voice break.
You just got to keep going.
Show must go on. I do have a bad chest infection, but we'll go on. Anyway, AJ said, "No, please, just go to the back." So then, what did you think of this match after he sent him to the back and the match got going? It was pretty fucking good, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it really pays when you actually get to see the full match, like in one go, and there's no kind of rest spots or dive to the outside, go to commercial, like to see the whole thing. And I mean, I know we kind of had a break, and then we came back, but yeah, just seeing them go at it for wherever it was over 10 minutes, I think, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, it's a good quick match, and I want to see them go 20 minutes on a pay per view. And it looks like
definitely, I think that's the step for that.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to see that because Styles is top notch. So even though Ricochet's a champ, Ricochet's going to have to pull out all the stops to win. Ricochet pushing to his limits, dives. He's like Will Ospreay. He's just like that. And Will Ospreay, by the way, had another unbelievable match. We forgot to talk about. We might talk about it later if we have time. Southern Showdown against Robbie Eagles, unbelievable match. Going to be another 5.5-star match. Anyway, but Ricochet just knows how to click, and him and Nate, when he has a pony clicks with, it's just unbelievable. And then Styles ducked the 630, which is a dangerous looking move on Ricochet's back. But and then he hit the phenomenal forearm and took up the pinfall. So I don't mind. Extreme Rules, Ricochet and AJ Styles in a ladder match.
I know about that, but I like to see them definitely face off again for the title this time.
Yeah, and I'd love to see Gallows and Anderson get help, kind of build this storyline and build up this club as a dominant faction.
Yeah, for sure.
Ricochet's brilliant. Ricochet's fantastic. Great match. And now we move on to SmackDown. And we start SmackDown with Shane McMahon. Hey. Talking about how to pay for Roman Reigns. It's just getting very old, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the Taker stuff gave it a bit of life, but I think now it was just kind of back to same old, wasn't it? But at least they kind of had Miz kind of sub in really and get battered for Reigns in this instance. So yeah, it wasn't really great for him. But it's, I think to see Roman not on his own show as well to defend him. We obviously know he was on the Asia tour, but still, it's kind of a bit. He's a SmackDown wrestler, isn't he? Like so.
Yeah,
That's the another thing you probably don't like about Wildcard is that you have Reigns, who's the main draft pick to SmackDown, and now he's not even on. Hasn't been on the show in a couple of weeks. Like, so I mean, what's the deal?
yeah. So what do you think about this Ziggler interrupting Kofi thing and resulting for 2 out of 3 falls match?
Yeah, no, it's another thing with all these 2 out of 3 falls matches. Like especially on this show, it would have made sense maybe if you have maybe Shane bring that up as like it kind of some sort of insurance policy for like the heels, really. Like if that was the story, instead of just having 2 out of 3 falls match just out of nowhere. Well, we know why, but like just in the context of the show, it's just we're having 2 out of 3 falls match, and that's it. Like, I mean, if you actually had some to kind of meat behind it, I think it would be better. And like in this instance, you could have easily made that the case with say Shane got Ziggler 2 out of 3 falls match with Kofi, and it would have been a lot better. But yeah, but I'm not going to complain about the actual matches themselves because the main event, because that was really good. I did like it a lot.
Yeah, yeah. We'll get on to that in a minute, but I just think these 2 out of 3 fall matches just make everything so like you go into SmackDown and Raw and be like, we're gonna get 2 out of 3 falls matches. I really hope Heyman and Bischoff put their heads together and like we need to think of an idea to combat these ad breaks. Do something. Maybe do like it's Samoa Joe where they're beating people up and then on the ad break they get on the mic and start taking the mic as like a dark segment. They just start like bashing their opponent.
Yeah, apparently that's what's been happening during the when it's gone dark. You've had kind of people running down the crowd over the mic. So I mean, yeah, I mean, there's been talk of rounds as well. I don't know about that, but like, yeah, like there's only going to be so many ways you can kind of have a 2 out of 3 falls match without just having it like we did tonight, where we're just having a 2 out of 3 falls match and there's no real meaning behind it. Like, well, we know the meaning behind it actually, but we don't. But if you're just watching the show, you don't actually know why. Why are you doing all these 2 out of 3 falls matches out of the blue?
Yeah, I love your professionalism calling last Tuesday tonight. It's lovely. Uh, anyway, anyway, so 2 to 3 falls match. If Ziggler wins, he's added to the triple threat. When I first saw this, I was like, just don't add Ziggler to it. Just leave Ziggler out of this. His promos were good at the start. It's kind of got a bit stale. Just leave him out.
Yeah, I think you just had to give Kofi his win. It's kind of clean in the middle win to kind of end this story.
Yeah, yeah, and it was a brilliant match. Let's not take anything away from it.
Absolutely.
But because they've had so much chemistry, I don't know. You have Sky Sports, do you remember WWE Vault? I bring this up in every podcast. Kieran's gonna kill me for bringing this up again. I bring this up in every podcast since because this Kofi and Ziggler storyline. But they had an unbelievable match for the US title on WWE Vault from like 2011. Bleach Blonde Dolph, Jamaican Kofi, Vicky Guerrero ringside. Sorry, Kieran.
Yeah, no, it's great to see them now in the main event spot after it feels like that was kind of the thing for forever during that period. Have Kofi in Intercontinental Championship, Ziggler, and kind of spinning around in the same wheel really. But now you have them kind of at a main event level, and yeah, I think they definitely rise to the occasion.
Yeah, we have 3 in the live chat. I don't know if one of them's us, but make yourself known and ask some questions. Anyway, we have next Daniel Bryan and Rowan versus Biggie and Xavier Woods. Yeah, because they were talking. Obviously, they had here on my notes about Vince McMahon saying there's no commercial breaks. They separation. What do I have? Separate. Biggie Woods was getting barred. Creates some separation. The hot tag to Big E. Nothing wrong with a Big E hot tag. What do you think of the Big E hot tag? Is one of the best in the business, isn't it? No, that's what in my opinion, Dano. But you got any favorite hot tags?
I always used to love the APA. Basically, they get a pop. They get a pop in their entrance. They come to the ring, and then you'd basically just be silent until Bradshaw got the hot tag again. I always used to like that.
Big lariats.
Yeah, no, it was just like
The big
that was it. They were just all kind of all action. Them lads really. There wasn't anything in the middle really. It was just beginning and the end. That was it. Which I always kind of like that.
Yeah, this is the problem with WWE though. Copy and paste. Good match. Good back and forward. Then Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn attack attacked the New Day after they win with Midnight Hour. Heavy Machinery made the save, and then we have an 8-man tag, which, like, it seems to be happening all the time. You attack someone, you get DQ, or you get attack someone at the end, and then it's like an 8-man tag. Having them out there for too long, I don't know what you think of this, but
yeah, I mean, it's kind of it makes sense, really, doesn't it? I mean, you gotta put
leave
them
it till
all
next
in
week.
some. I don't really think that's the answer, really. I mean, like, it's how you have them there. Then, like, the only time I think people would want to see the match, even in the slightest, would be then and there. So I mean, just get it over with, really. But I like it though. So I mean, I just want kind of more story with the teams more so than anything
Yeah.
else.
What do you think of Heavy Machinery? Do you like them?
Yeah, I think they're good.
Oh, this is good.
They're entertaining, like, and yeah, they haven't been on at a great deal yet, but they do have a lot of potential, and I think as a kind of a funny, kind of entertaining tag team, and then the caterpillar thing is quite is quite over as well. So like that's always kind of play into their hands, you know.
Yeah. What do you think about
The bad spot they were in the Brian match though. On the pay per view, like, because they were good, really good in that match as well. It's just a shame it was in the one place where they probably weren't going to get a reaction for that shtick, you know.
Yeah. What do you think about There's an interesting crinkle here because the match happens. I don't remember spots from an 8-man tag, but the match happens and it comes towards the end, and Owens leaves saying high and dry for a trash compactor, and Heavy Machinery pick up the win. What's this about? Are we leaning toward the Sami Zayn going back to face, or is this just, are we just reading too much into this? Is it chicken shit heel antics?
Yeah, I think it's just KO being KO. You know, he just wasn't
Saving himself?
feeling it. Just got out of there. Let Zayn be the fall guy. Really, I don't think it's just that's kind of what you would expect him to do, isn't it? Like,
Yeah. We had during the night we had the Miz go to Shane's locker room and be like, "Yeah, I open the door. I'm gonna break the guitar. He said, "I'm gonna shove the guitar up your ass." Oh, brilliant line. Um, Shane comes out and Elias goes, "Miz was knocking on your door, taking the mick out of you. Oh, you can face him in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Yeah, sure, okay." So we have the Miz against Elias in a 2 out of 3 falls match. And if the Miz won, he got his rematch with Shane, the best in the world. Poor George Hamilton having to read that out. Anyway, what do you think of this 2 out of 3 falls?
I didn't like this one. I think it's just kind of get it over with, really. You know, just.
Yeah, we're gonna move on to Firefest soon, so I'm just gonna say Elias won 1-0 with the drift away. DDT, yes, kicks. Miz was just staring down Shane the whole time. I like their match at WrestleMania, but Skull Crushing finale gave Miz 2-1 all, and then
Miz has never got his revenge.
I know.
I know it doesn't.
You go through this. You go through this win and fall here.
Huh?
Go through this like.
Yeah, no, I just think. Yeah, I think the fact that he just gets battered every week by like Shane or Elias or McIntyre or whoever. Like, I mean, give it to the lad something, like, you know. I mean, I know obviously in that position Shane is the one you're pushing, Miz is not. But I mean, it's the beat week after week.
Yeah.
Poor Miz. Poor Miz.
Yeah, remember his first babyface turn was awful when Ric Flair gave him the figure 4. This one is actually a good hit. Was actually a good face turn at the start. It was really good. He was really intense. He was beating up people. It just kind of dried out. He's not. He's the same as who was the other one who's losing every week? Gallows and Anderson. It's the same as that. You're just like losing his credibility. I mean, he's one of the best on the mic. He's not the best in the ring. Let's give him that. But obviously, McMahon and Shane and Elias beat him down, and Elias picks up the pin, and then Shane hits him with the coast to coast. Yeah, that's it. Like, I don't really see what they're trying to tell 2 storylines in one here, and it's just getting a bit convoluted, isn't it?
Yeah, it just kind of makes Miz look a bit silly. Kind of, you have obviously Roman on Monday, and then on Tuesday, Miz just gets his arse kicked in vain. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Next we had Nikki Cross against Bailey. This was okay.
Yeah, no, she got Bliss the title match. So yeah, I like their celebration as well at the end. That was that was quite funny. So
Yeah. I liked Crazy Nikki Cross. But no, this is good. I love the way Bliss's character is a manipulator. It suits chicken shit manipulator.
yeah,
Just
but it
ma-
makes everyone else. It makes everyone else. She's so manipulative that it's like it's obvious. Like you know, I mean, but I guess with Nikki, she's like batshit. So I mean, maybe you can play it off. But like when I see kind of Natalia and Naomi kind of you know, like even considering believing what you're saying for a second, it just feels like a bit off, you know. But
yeah, so she wins with the roll up, gets the Bliss title match and celebrates on the table as you said. Quite good. Next we have this weird storyline that started over in Nintendo Switch with Ember Moon on Sonya Deville. Um, I heard they were going with some sort of I haven't really been watching SmackDown much, but I heard a few weeks ago they were going towards some lesbian angle with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville because Sonya Deville is a lesbian in real life. They were going towards this angle, but this just seems to be Mandy Rose and Ember Moon's feud, and obviously she had Sonya Deville to do the work for it. This wasn't terrible, but I'm just not invested.
they really don't have a lot. Like this is kind of the one thing every week which really doesn't get a lot of time put towards it, so it's just kind of there, you know. So I mean, I can't really say really what I think of it at the minute because they haven't really gave us much. But
Yeah,
and what they have given us really hasn't been that good. So I mean, like,
yeah. So Rose distracted her opponent. I mean, I get distracted if Mandy Rose stepped up on anything. Not gonna lie. Um, but Sonya Deville got her win, and Sonya Deville's this big MMA. She's a former MMA star, so she should be dominant. But she is a heel, and Mandy Rose distracted, and Sonya Deville picked up the win. So they're going to continue to see it. Ember Moon is a champion. She's been brilliant in the ladder matches, but it's a bit of a bad storyline. But Deville picks up the win. It's another thing. I really hope I stop using this when Biscoff and Heyman take over, but it's a bit meh, innit?
yeah, I think that a lot of things you kind of just you see. I mean, you could bury it really if you wanted, but like, yeah, it's maybe not even worth it. You know, it's just
Yeah.
on to the next.
On to the next, which was the main event of the evening, which was Kofi Kingston against Dolph Ziggler in a 2 out of 3 falls match. And you said you liked this, and I can't really disagree, to be honest.
Yeah, we touched on it a bit already. Just it was really good match. You know, I like the spots with the on the outside. You know, Kingston the zigzag, and then comes back in. Looks like he's gonna get the fall again, super kick, and then the really good sequence to finish things off. So yeah, I don't know. It's where Ziggler goes from here. It's probably maybe I
Just
think
how long?
he come back just for this, but like yeah, then maybe he goes away again and then comes back again at some point. But I've liked these matches anyway. Definitely,
Yeah,
they
how long
said
did this match go?
12 minutes.
12 minutes. All right, yeah. So Kingston won the first fall. Yeah, as you said, I like Ziggler. He can come back for a few feud with a few random people. I like maybe see when McIntyre is dominant.
Yeah, he's not someone that you need on every show. Like
No, bring him back
he
for a
can come
bit.
in, he can come in and go, and I think that's you're getting the best out of him in
Put
short
over
spurts.
NXT superstars when Matt Riddle comes or something.
But
Or
eventually, I think that's the thing. Eventually, he needs to win. Like, I mean, you need to give him a win at some point. Like, I mean, he's been kind of like losing pretty much everything. He's been
yeah,
in forever. That's kind of the thing with him, isn't it? So, I mean, eventually, I think he actually needs to win at some
he's like
point. You know?
He's like Cassius Ohno kind of the main roster, isn't he? Rory's favorite wrestler,
Yeah, he's
Chris
kind of
Hero.
like a gatekeeper. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, then Ziggler obviously survived the onslaught, as you said. Super kick, 1-all. Um, the counter of a famouser into it, like he countered a famouser. It was a really good exchange for the third fall. The crowd seemed kind of hot, considering that a lot of the crowd weren't there. um, a lot of good near falls, weren't there? Some really good near falls here. That's what I noticed. That's why I have my notes.
Yeah, and I think it benefits as well from us getting to see the whole match. because I think there's a big like commercial in between, and then we come back and it's we have him in a chokehold or something. It takes you out of it
Yeah.
considerably. So I think to see just the match, all the wrestling, I think is definitely beneficial, and I think it added to the matches we've seen the past 2 nights here. So
But here, I look the last 2 nights. This guy's professional, lad. Kieran, this guy's professional. Anyway,
it's all live.
He's keeping kayfabe. Anyway, Zigzag and Ziggler kicked out, which was set out. The crowd were pretty hot for that because Kingston's they've kind of done the same thing with Becky with Kingston, but this kind of livened it back up. I don't know why I'm saying Kingston, Kofi. But no, Ziggler gave a great showing, and then Kofi, loads of reversals, triple in paradise, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Kofi wins, and Ziggler is not in the match, which is the right result. Great match, and that's SmackDown. What would you say was a better show?
I preferred SmackDown overall. I think again, just been getting. This is not going to be as long as of a watch. I found like there wasn't really anything I skipped over. So I mean, yeah, I think the short spurt does it for me.
Yeah,
and good stuff as well. Good matches.
Yeah, SmackDown was terrible last week, and Raw was good. But this week, SmackDown came back, and I think SmackDown beat Raw.
Yeah, both good. Yeah, both. I like both shows. Like I said, it's definitely getting a lot better in recent weeks.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the future. Now, we're going to be here for like 4 hours if we don't move on. So, Fyter Fest. How much of this did you get to watch? Because me and Dean, by the way, were about in work today doing 9-hour shifts. So.
Yeah, but I've seen. I want to talk about the Moxley stuff. I was really impressed with that. That's the match. That's the only match I've seen in full. But yeah, I think it's quite the return back to the scene for the former Mr. Ambrose. I really enjoyed his stuff so far, and this to see his first match back in a major promotion was in America was. I can't complain.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be brilliant to see him on TV every week. I can't wait for Moxley against Jimmy Havoc. Oh. Anyway, this I think I have that as the thumbnail. It might be flashing as a thumbnail because I need to still know how to work thumbnails on a live. But it's just Moxley holding a barbed wire chair with like tissue coming off it. I think the tissue was planted there to make it look like he like peeled it off or whatever. But anyway, we're gonna start off with the buy-in. I think this is it's a great name for their kick-in shows, isn't it? The buy-in. They've done really well with the marketing there.
Yeah, I think that the whole thing is the names. Even this play on Fire Festival, I think they're doing good with the naming of the shows and whatnot.
Yeah, so let's get straight into some results. SCU. Have you seen much of SCU?
Nope.
They're brilliant. Just check them out. SoCal Uncensored, Christopher Daniels, Scorpio Sky, and Frankie Kazarian. But they were represented by Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky versus the Best Friends versus the new team of the Private Party. And Private Party were the star of this match. This was a brilliant match. This is where it gets complicated. This match, then, was to get into a match at All Out, which is a match to get a bye in the tournament, the tag team tournament that's starting at TV. So this is a match to get into a match to get into a match. Basically,
yeah, look, I mean,
to get a bye in.
A lot of forward planning,
Yep. Anyway, SCU are very good. Their song is over. They have this thing where they go to towns and say this is the worst town I've ever been in. Best Friends were a great team in New Japan, and everyone on the Indies will know them. They were Trent Beretta and Chucky T. They were in Chaos, Okada's faction in New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And Private Party are a new team for everyone, but they stole the show here. They were just flying all over the place. Unprettier and a double stomp combination is what one of the bigger moves. They were just flying everywhere. They're like the Street Profits, but both members are good. Sorry, Angelo Dog. And Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor, who's fucking hilarious. He's unbelievable. He had a over WrestleMania weekend, he had a best like what was it, a match against an Invisible Man, or him and Beretta fought in a best of 13 falls match, where like it lasted a minute, but there was like 13 falls. They're just brilliant. They're good comedy wrestlers and they're good serious wrestlers. They hit Storm Zero here to take the win, and then there's a tag team called the Dark Order, who are like look really good as well. Looks like they're building great depth to their roster, and they had an ominous message, so it's probably going to be them all out. Yeah. So, what do you think about this tag team tournament? Are you into these kind of tournaments that they're going to have in?
Yeah, the tournaments are always, I think, it's always kind of, you have an element of intrigue, just given the nature of the brackets and whatnot. So I think, yeah, tournaments are a good thing to do, definitely. And again, this is for their tag titles as well. So you're going to be crowning, the first ever tag champion. So
yeah, I'm not going to go too
yeah,
too long with these matches, but two librarians. I don't know if you've seen this storyline, but two librarians. One of them was Peter Avalon, the male, and one of them was Leva Bates, who's the woman. She had a match against Ali, who was basically buried in Impact, but she moved to AEW. She's quite good. They had a match. The storyline is the male librarian loves the female librarian. Don't ask. Avalon, the male librarian, tried to distract Ali with a book, threw it in. Ali caught the book, threw it to Bates, super kick. Ali wins. Ali's fighting Brandy Rhodes in the next pay-per-view because they're kind of in a feud at the moment. So that set her up strong for the feud. And then this is I don't know if you probably didn't catch this, but did you hear about this? Michael Nakasawa, who's one of the good friends of Kenny Omega, fought the chairman of CEO, which is the company who runs Fyter Fest, who runs like the games convention. CEO, gaming creator, and chairman, Alex Jabali. So he fought like a non-wrestler in a hardcore match, and they were like falling into swimming pools and stuff. Because last year, your man Jabali beat Nakasawa surprisingly. What do you like think about having like a non-wrestler in the ring? Do you think that's a bit dangerous, or I thought it was a bit?
It's so often is rarely ever good. Like it has to be, to pull it off. I think they have to be all in experience.
Yeah. Why are you?
Like yeah, in this instance, what? Sorry.
Yeah. No, yeah, keep going.
Hello?
Sorry.
Yeah, I can what were you asking?
No, I'm just saying what your thoughts on, like, keep going, whatever you were saying.
No, yeah, no, in this instance it didn't no, it wasn't great really.
Did you watch it, yeah?
Didn't like it.
Did you watch
it?
No, you watched
it just in the highlight. Yeah, just a couple of highlight packages, but this wasn't great. It's last on the pre-show as well. So I mean, it's kind of I think they were kind of just waiting for it all to be over so we could get to the main card, really.
Yeah, I was a bit scared when he hit the. Did you see when Jabali hit the suplex? I was like, don't get a new guy to the suplex, like flipping hell.
Look, you definitely have to put trust in the hands of the actual wrestler in that instance,
Yeah, Nakasawa with all his baby oil. It's a bit weird, but it's his gimmick. There was some games controller buttons like used like thumbtacks, and some. Sorry about these noises. My computer has so many viruses. I need to scan it. Anyway, they had some like computer chips, and they hit some people with like games controllers. So it was kind of cool like that, but it wasn't nothing special, as you said. And Michael Nakasawa got his win back after Jabali beat him last year. So the main card. Onto the main card. Opening match was Seema against Christopher Daniels. Did you check this out?
I didn't see it now, but I've been a fan of Chris Daniels for a while, and it's good to see him. Good to see him still going, and he's getting on a bit, isn't he? But he's still really
brilliant.
fucking good as we've seen in this match.
Yeah. Do you know how many years he's been wrestling? Have you heard this?
Yeah, no, I remember him back. Well, I wasn't alive back then, but I know he's been around since since the 90s. So
25 years, then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and Seema, who's very good. He's part of a Japanese faction, and these are like two veterans of each other's like companies going against each other. Daniels is a member of SCU, and he's very good. He wears like them dad glasses coming out to the ring. He can still hit all these backflips. They had a great match, and I don't know if you noticed, but Seema's facing off against Kenny Omega at Fight for the Fallen. So that explains why Seema won with Meteora. They were so smooth. They were so good in the ring. It wasn't the best match in the world, but it was very, very good and a very good opener. And they both did themselves very proud, obviously. And they Seema picks up the win to go into his match with Kenny Omega, which I'm going to assume he's going to lose.
Oh yeah.
The next match, Riho defeated Sakazaki and Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose is put over big here because she's like this. She's the first ever transgender wrestler, which is great for AEW, and she was just built as this like monster, and she just destroyed everyone. These two Japanese girls are very good as well. Did you hear Kenny Omega tagged with this girl called Riho when she was 15 years old? Just in 2015, just before he went to New Japan.
Really? Yeah. It was in DDT promotions or something like that, was it?
Yeah. So this was good. Nyla Rose put over as a big like monster heel, beating the crap out of everyone. Riho picked up the win. I'm not going to go too much through it because this is the one the match that I glazed over because I was trying to watch this last night and I fell asleep. But fail four-way. I'm sure you checked this out. Hangman Page versus MJF versus Jungle Boy versus Jimmy Havoc. Did you check this one out?
I think in this match you have really kind of four big players in regards to just ADE AEW as a whole. I think these are definitely four people that you can really put some steam behind, and definitely push pretty strong because they're all four big characters and four pretty popular ones as well. Especially with Jungle Boy, he's just been a revelation, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, he did. I don't know if you've seen his interview. You should check out Chris Van Vliet on YouTube. He's a guy who does interviews. And you do know who Jungle Boy's dad has a famous dad. You probably know that already, but
No.
Jungle Boy, I don't know if you know the actor Luke Perry. I don't know if you're. He died this past year. He was in a lot of shows. But his dad died this past year, and that was his son. But yeah, his son's had a big rise, and he's with this guy Luchasaurus, which I think coming out on his shoulders, it looks really good, and it looks like a good character.
Yeah, I think it's this funny kind of gig he has going on there, but he's good, Jungle Boy, and I think he has a bit of potential, definitely.
How can you not hate MJ? How can you not love/hate MJF? He's brilliant, isn't he? He just gets.
He's a great heel.
He just gets. He lives the heel character everywhere. Right, I'm going to tell you a quick story. I probably told this on the first episode of the podcast when we were talking about MJF, but I'm going to tell you, Dino. We're at OTT. We were at Basketball Arena in February, and I was at the merch table meeting Will Ospreay. And I got to take a photo, Will, and I got back and I checked my phone for the photo, and I'm like, this is a nice photo. In the background, MJF is sticking the middle finger up at me. He just loves to live his heel character and live his heel promo. He comes out onto the ramp to deliver his heel promo, and the first line he says, "It's a shame the famine didn't kill you all off." That's how you get it. That's how you get it. He's just brilliant, and he tried to give Jimmy Havoc like a sarcastic thumbs up when he did a good job. Jimmy Havoc just sticks up the middle finger. Some of the good. Did you see this Jungle Boy spot? This little this springboard tumble thing that he did off the top rope.
I just want to lastly touch on MJF. Wrestlers with scarves is always just going to be a really good thing, you know. It just works, you know.
Yeah, but did you see this move off the top rope from Jungle Boy? The one where he did some sort of like catapult tumble thing.
I did not know, but it sounds sounds exciting.
Jeez, he nearly hit his head off the ring post, but jeez, it was a brilliant move. Anyway, as we kind of expected, Kip Sabian, it was an English guy, was ringside. He had a great win over Sammy Guevara at Double or Nothing. But He's a young English lad. He's one of Will Ospreay's good friends. He's in AEW, and he was going to play. He's going to fight the winner at Five of the Fallen, obviously to kind of fill time before All Out in August. MJF, Hangman Page, he's just a star in the making. He 250 can do a shooting star press, buckshot lariat. He's just got all the moves and he's got all the charisma, and he picked up the win. And I think this is the right result, Dana. And I can't really disagree with the result here, since he's fighting Jericho soon.
Yeah, I think this could be our champion.
Sorry, what? Sorry, you're breaking up there. Sorry for the.
Yeah, I think this is your first ever AEW champion. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're setting him up to be a champion. I don't see Jericho being the champion. I don't. A lot. Jericho's kind of dying out for me now. That Okada match wasn't great. He's going to be a good player. He's going to put people over. He's going to be a really good heel. But I just want to see someone who can like have some close or even 5-star match with the belt. So everyone was brilliant here. Jimmy Havoc not doing a death match and like showing that he can actually wrestle was really good as well. So what were your kind of where I can't complain with Jimmy Havoc versus John Moxley at All Out. Oh no, John Moxley's already fighting Kenny Omega. Fight for the Fallen. I can't complain with a bit of John Moxley.
Yeah, I'm sure it's at some point they'll have a match. Yeah, but that's definitely something you'd look forward to. Them two combustible elements in the ring together and in a maybe hardcore death match setting. You know, it's gold.
Yeah, they had Tower of Doom spots and all, and then Hangman Page returned after selling his knee injury. Seth Rollins, take notes. That's how you actually sell the knee. And buckshot lariat and threw MJF to the floor, picked up the pinfall. Now here we come on to the most controversial, yes, very good matches. We have Darby Allin against Cody Rhodes. Did you watch? I'm assuming you watched this match because of the ending, and I'm assuming you watched this match before you got to the ending.
Yeah. And the ending kind of overshadows it a little bit, but you can't take away from a good match they had, you know. And
I love Darby Allin.
Absolutely, yeah. He looks he's kind of a bit of a wild card almost, you know. He's kind of come out of nowhere, really. Just and he got his match here, and I definitely think he took advantage of the spotlight, really.
Yeah, I saw him on Sunday fighting against one of the upcomers in OTT called Scotty Davis, who's going to be a world champion everywhere he goes. I'm going to keep saying it until it happens. But Darby Allin nearly flattened me. I was standing beside the ramp, and they were fighting on the ramp, and they pulled me out of the way just at the end. Darby Allin nearly flattened the fuck out of me. It was really scary. But Allin comes out with a body bag, which is pretty cool, with Cody's name on it. Cody's kind of a tweener because he's not a heel, but he's not like a babyface because he was doing push-ups when Darby Allin was on the ground. But Darby Allin's offense is just, I can't really describe it. It's just unique, isn't it?
Yeah, it's something different, isn't it? And you know, he's so young as well. Like, I mean, he's I think he's I don't know how long he's going to be wrestling for, but good Jesus, if he keeps it up, he could be hurt pretty soon, you know.
Yeah, did you see him against John Moxley on the Indies? Did you hear about that spot? I told you about the spot where he got handcuffed.
Yeah, no, that's he's just bumping around in handcuffs. Like, good Jesus, that is gonna shorten your career, really. Stuff like that, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, I've heard stories. I will watch the Jimmy Havoc interview yesterday about him getting chopped with a pizza cutter and the guts coming out of his arm and stuff. So I think he'll be all right. But I just can't wait to hear Darby Allin versus Jimmy Havoc, Darby Allin versus John Moxley again. All these matches, it's fresh and it's exciting, as you can hear from like the way we're talking about it. A good spot before we get to the inevitable, what we're going to talk about. Allin brings out the body bag and it kind of backfires on him because Cody puts him in the body bag and delivers a disaster kick. That was a nice spot, a bit nice storytelling. Darby Allin just has did you see the bit where he just gets up on the top, the middle rope, like he's in like the old school position, and he just does like an arm drag, just really smooth. Then he does this coffin. Have you seen? You're probably seen the coffin dive from the top rope, yeah. That thing where
yeah,
and that kind of he hits off the back, and obviously we forgot to say this is an important element in it. It's a 20-minute time limit match, and it gets down to the last few seconds. And I think I'm pretty sure the draw was a mistake. I'm pretty sure Tony Khan said the draw was a mistake. Warrior, do you
Oh no,
think
he said
maybe
that he said the chair shot. He said the chair shot was a mistake.
Yeah, I think he said they ran over a bit, but maybe he was kind of like he was kind of like trying to make the match sound a bit more real. But okay, so the time Cody gets to the 2 count just as the time runs out, and the ref goes no. So Cody called for 5 more minutes, and my throat's getting a bit sore, so I'll let you describe the next few events after Cody tries to call for 5 more minutes of the match.
Yeah, no, he doesn't get it. What he does get is Sean Spears with a chair in his hand. He turns towards him, and yeah, he lays it in, as they say, full force,
Chair
unprotected chair shot to the head. He takes it. In the end, we found that obviously it didn't work the way it was planned, but visually just looked great. Just how he kind of sold it, and just the impact, devastating. Definitely gets the desired effect. Which, I mean, it's probably just, even gimmicked or not, it's probably not something that we want to see in wrestling too often, given how much we know about the negative consequences to something
all
like a
these
chair shot to the
concussions.
head can have. But I think when you do it like this, and it's such a special kind of such a rare kind of thing to see, and when you see it done like this, it just, the impact it has is just is massive. I mean, it's one of the main thing people are talking about coming off this show, so we can definitely gauge from that it got the desired effect, and it shows like how powerful it can be when it's not being done on every show like it maybe was back in the Attitude Era.
Yeah, no, it probably wasn't the desired effect. AEW did tweet 12 staples, no concussion.
Yeah, I mean, no concussion. That's the main thing,
Yeah,
really.
they tweeted him at
But
the truck, so I think he was okay. It sounded awful, didn't it? You heard the crack. Darby Allin kind of got forgotten. I feel sorry for him because he had a brilliant match.
yeah, it's kind of overshadowed it, really. Like this is kind of the main take home point, really, almost from the whole show, isn't it? But yeah, unfortunately, the match got a little bit overshadowed in that respect. But we're on now to Cody and Spears. Will be very interesting based off this. Now, I mean, a chair shot to the head, I think is a good thing as any to kick off a hot angle.
Yeah, but we're obviously going to get Cody and Dustin against the Bucks first, and that.
Oh yeah, we got that first, but this is
good. Yeah, this is just long-term storytelling, so you can kind of forget about it for a while, and then like he might interfere in the tag match. Tony Khan said afterwards quickly, because we need to pick it up. We called the doctor immediately. It was obviously really regrettable what happened. I don't know if it's time to go into what happened, but we've taken precautions in this situation, in that specific situation. A doctor was available, and Cody does not have a concussion. He has staples, and we're all very grateful for that. And obviously, after the match, SoCal and Censor come out, but we also have the first person on the scene was MJF. So I don't know if you've seen this storyline. Have you seen it where MJF is kind of being buddy with Cody, but like fighting with Brandy, but he has posters of Cody, and he wears his jacket and stuff. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting triangle that's going on, really, and it's maybe not overly subtle, but it's a nice thing to kind of have in the back pocket as a kind of slow build almost to see where they eventually go with it.
Yeah, there will be a feud for them, obviously. But did you see the tweet that Maxwell Jacob Freeman sent out? The MJF. He said, "Please leave me alone at this time. I'm grieving over what has happened to my best friend / mentor, Cody Rhodes. Fuck Sean Spears." That's brilliant. So we move on to a kind of match that's kind of been forgotten, and it shouldn't be for the people who were in it, but it wasn't. Obviously, wasn't the best match that these 5 people could have had. And I was introduced to a new wrestler, which is really nice. We had Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks cosplaying as Street Fighter, which is pretty cool. Kenny Omega had red hair, versus Laredo Kid and the Lucha Brothers. How much of the Lucha Brothers have you seen, or is this kind of like your first experience, or have you kind of?
This would have been the first time I would have seen them. So,
and
very impressed.
Yeah, the Lucha Bros are brilliant. Some of the stuff they do is just your man Your man Ray Phoenix is brilliant. He just gets how to make moves look like they hurt so badly. But it wasn't the best match they could have had. Your man Laredo Kid hit some pretty cool like Torpe Kong Helos and stuff, and they had some really good super kick spots and some really good. Obviously, Omega and Pentagon are just gonna have fireworks anytime they step in the ring. If you know what I mean, like it's just. What did you think of this match as a kind of person watching three new fighters?
Yeah, no, I definitely like the look of them all. Again, you mentioned the kind of this match kind of sandwiched in between the two main events almost, which I suppose it was the only place it really could have been. But that's not to take away from it. It was still really good as well. But again, just probably didn't have as much heat as the other two. But yeah, no, all six of them put in a shift, and yeah, very intrigued to see more. I think I've said that a lot about this show, really. But again, it's my kind of first exposure to a lot of people
Yeah,
that were here, including the Lucha Brothers. But yeah,
yeah,
like
and
like
you want to see more. That's they've done their job.
yeah,
Uh,
now for
yeah,
someone watching casually, I think you have the desired effect.
yeah. Okay, so Phoenix hit a Spanish fly towards the end on the top rope after an attempted Meltzer driver. Omega back, and then they were back in the ring. It was Omega and Pentagon. Omega hit a Tiger driver for two. But then he went and hit the V trigger and the one winged angel and the Elite One, which is the right result. Omega's been built up for this Moxley match and obviously SEMA. So Omega gets the win. Great match, but it was overshadowed. And now we get on to this main event. What the fuck do you think about Joey Janela?
Oh, he took a beating in this match, didn't he? He put in a shift. He really did. And yeah, I'd love to know how he's feeling this morning after that. Woo.
Yeah, have you seen? You need to look up this spot. I've told Kieran. Sorry for the people who are watching if I repeat myself, but have you seen the thing about him on the roof in CZW?
No.
Okay, there's a spot that put Joey Janela nearly on the map, and obviously Jim Cornette hates him, obviously,
Oh,
and a
he
lot of
would.
people are like, "What the hell are you doing?" Because he was out of wrestling for 6 months. He was in hospital for 5 months because in a match in CZW, which is the hardcore event, he was fighting a guy who doesn't fight anymore. A guy who was about 40 years old at the time. I can't remember the name, but he was fighting a guy, and they went up to the top of a roof, and below them was a truck with light tubes and glass panes, and it had like a few beams. And they were on top of the roof, and the guy picked up Joey Janela and hit him with a Death Valley bomb off the top of the roof, 25 feet into the back of a truck, through the light tubes, through the glass. They said they were about 5 centimeters, both of them, from killing themselves. And Janela was in hospital for 5 months because of blood loss and not being able to walk and having a broken leg. This is how like crazy this fella is.
Yeah, look, I mean, if he
Dean,
keeps going about, hello, yeah.
Dino.
Can you
Well,
hear me? Yeah.
technical difficulties because I can't see. Dean, are you still there?
Hello. Hello.
Dean,
Yeah. Can you hear me now? It's
I think
gone.
Dean's
Quiet.
mic's just cut off. We'll try and get him back now. Dean, your mic cut off.
Hello. Can you hear me now? Yeah,
Oh, I love the joys of a live podcast. Anyway, yeah, this was a crazy match.
hello. We back on? No.
We're gonna cut this out for the final edit, I think. But once I get Dino back,
Hello.
I'm gonna delete. I'm gonna leave and come back, Dino. I think that's the best way to do it. Sorry for this brief interruption. We don't claim to be a brilliant podcast, but I was in the middle of explaining that I don't know if anyone else in the live chat, if there's anyone in the live chat has seen this Death Valley bomb that Joey Janela took off the top rope, but it is just sickening. So let's see if there's anyone in the live chat because I haven't checked for a while. Dean? Dean? You back? Dino?
Hello.
No, I can't hear you. I think you're gonna have to
Hello.
I think we're gonna have to finish this podcast off. Okay, so Dino cut off, so I'm gonna finish off this this podcast and get it uploaded. Sorry for the scrappiness of the podcast. Thanks, Dean, for being on. Your input was fantastic, and your journalistic view, because I just speak from who I like and who I don't like, but Dean actually had a journalistic view on it. So we are going to finish up with the main event, which was Joey Janela versus Dean Ambrose / John Moxley, obviously, in Rebotch, in a unsanctioned match, which is always just we had Ciampa and Gargano in an unsanctioned match for the in NXT, and it's just a way of having a DQ match sound more horrific and violent. So I love this match because I love death matches. I don't know, Jim Cornette probably turned off after this, but obviously John Moxley is on a collision course for Kenny Omega on August 31st, and this match started off with just them beating the crap out of each other. And the first they had started taking out tables were flying off everywhere. We had tables coming from all corners, and the first real weapon of note to come out was a barbed wire steel chair, which was been in the thumbnail. The barbed wire steel chair was brought out, and Moxley was and both of them were treated to its full usage. When you see Janela hit him with the steel chair, and he pulls the chair back, and the barbed wire is just struggling to get out of Moxley's back. It's just horrific. And then Janela was sent into it, and then Moxley pulls out another barbed wire chair, and you can see there's tissue, a lot of blood on it, where it looks like Moxley's tried to clean his barbed wire steel chair. It's a great piece of storytelling where Moxley's trying to pull off the blood of his last victim off the chair. Janela, Moxley nearly hit a senton bomb, but Janela moved out of the way and brought a table out, and then there was 2 tables out. This is just crazy. It's so hard to talk about. I wish I had Dino here again, but and there was tables at ringside, and then a really cool spot because it's such a simple move and it's such a transitional move. But a Russian leg sweep from Janela sent them both through the tables at ringside, and that was pretty good. And there was a really good spot where Janela was down, and Moxley was just looking at the table, and Janela just looks up and gives him the middle finger. It's just great, great bit of character work because Janela just doesn't give a crap. As I've said, he just nearly died in a CZW accident. Moxley then the barbed wire tables came out, and they were just horrific. When you see them lying on them, and Janela's just screaming in agony as he's lying on a barbed wire table on the outside that he set up himself, and he's just trying to pick the barbed wire out of his leg. And then Moxley sent him, he just speared Janela through a table, and then Janela shot him the middle finger again. Shot him just just a middle finger, middle fingers. We had blood. I mean, Moxley's back was cut up at this stage. The hands were just cut. You could see Janela as he's like the only way he can get the barbed wire. So Janela's like attacking Moxley, and then Moxley just comes out of like a lariat clothesline. It's like used to be what he did off the ropes, but just out of the corner. And Janela takes out a ladder. Takes out a ladder because that's what we need right now. A ladder, more weapons, and puts Moxley on the table, elbow drop through the table, as you do, and Janela then brings out his own barbed wire board, and Moxley catches him. Of course, the people who usually bring out the weapons I find in these matches are the people who actually go through them. So Moxley dumps him through the table with a Death Valley bomb, and AEW just the crowd, despite having no breaks, the crowd was just hot throughout this whole thing, and the crowd was just brilliant. And Moxley, my voice is nearly gone, and I'm feeling very sick, but we'll try and get through the last 5 minutes. So the crowd was really hot, and both men had just, as I was saying, Janela's trying to pick the barbed wire off his tights, and like the barbed wire, all of a sudden you see his hands start pouring blood. This is just really, really rough and really, really hard to watch, but it's just brilliant at the same time. I wish they had Havoc in here for a triple threat. And then all of a sudden, Moxley just brings out a bucket, and you know what's in it, but it's just, you're like, oh shit. Moxley brings out thumbtacks, and this is where I just want to make a quick note. Havoc spoke about this in interviews where like he loves using relatable things like these barbed wire boards. You're like, it's really, really sore, but like, how do I know how that feels? But like the Lego and thumbtacks, you've like all had like I've had a thumbtack in my finger when you put it in the drawer, try and find some keys. It just looks, you can feel, you're like, oh, imagine like one thumbtack hurts. Imagine getting dropped on them. So Moxley puts the thumbtacks, sprawls them out onto the canvas, and then Moxley does obviously channeling his inner Jimmy Havoc or ex John Moxley, takes off Janela's shoes and socks and decides to pick him up for a suplex and drop him down with his feet first onto the thumbtacks with a release suplex after Janela was trying to fight out of it, but there was about 6 thumbtacks in his heel and few in his sole of his foot. It just looks awful. You can feel your feet just hurting as I was watching this. And then he, like a German suplex onto the thumbtacks, just sprawls tacks all over Janela's back. Janela just, and it's brilliant. Janela just looks up, is like, finish me, you son of a bitch. Middle fingers. Janela gets proper angry. And then Moxley just, you can see the rage in Moxley's eyes. Death Rider DDT right on the tacks in his back, tacks on Janela's forehead. Death Rider DDT, or the paradigm shift that is called in AEW, 1, 2, 3. Obviously, Moxley picks up the win as we expected. But after the match is where it gets quite interesting, because the last thing I'm going to talk about is Kenny Omega comes out, sprints down, V trigger straight in the face, puts Moxley under the table, double stomp. But they start brawling outside, fighting each other. They get up to the stage where the band has refused to play. That was a storyline earlier in the night. Omega takes the guitar, smashes it over the back of Moxley. Obviously, because the assault that happened at the end of Double or Nothing, building to their match, Moxley is down and Omega's standing tall, and Omega's just beating the crap out of him. And as they're going off the air, Moxley's like crawling on the ground as he's been beating the crap out of, and he's just smiling and laughing. And it's just brilliant character work. It makes Moxley look like a maniac. And that brings us to the end of Fyter Fest, and that brings us to the end of the show. First of all, I apologize for Dean cutting out there. We can't really control anything. It's very tough to do. He had an Android earpiece, and it was very hard to control. But we hope you enjoyed it. I love Dean's journalistic view. I'd love to have him on again. It was very good. We might have him on next week. Kieran will be back in 2 weeks. Kieran is going to Raw on Monday night, and I hope he's going to make a sign and try and get us a bit of promotion. which would be very good and get some promotion outside. Thanks for listening. I hope the audio is okay. I hope everything is okay, and I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoyed the listen. I'm going to work on getting us on SoundCloud soon for an episode a week, and then I'm going to delete it because I don't want to pay, obviously, until I know that we're going to do this full time. But thanks for listening. Next week, we're going to be talking G1. We're going to be talking Raw and SmackDown, the first Raw and SmackDown under the Biscoff and Heyman era. G1, obviously, with Moxley in it and Will Ospreay. So, yeah, thanks for listening. We've gone a long time. It's now 25 past 10. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for listening. I hope you liked it. We will do these lives more at a more appropriate time so we can get some people in the live chat sometime. So, thanks for listening. And I will see you guys next week, and I will see you during the week for a Indie Corner. Hopefully I'll record it tomorrow and have it uploaded tomorrow night. But if I don't, I'll see you next week, and thank you for listening. Good night.